Business is really warfare, but it's the activity of life itself. You say, well, business means I need to open up a business. Okay, yeah, that's right. But real activity of life has to deal with all the essentials of life that we must provide for ourselves, our families, our future. I have something in my pocket that, gee, where is it? Oh, yeah. I have a gold coin. In 1961, I was sitting with Elijah Muhammad, and he took out of his pocket a gold coin. This is 1 ounce of gold, pure gold, okay? Mr. Muhammad put it on the table. He said, one day soon, this gold coin will be the new medium of exchange. White people are moving into the inner city. Some of them knocking on doors. They come with money and they ask you for your gold. Because what they're giving you, I think I got some of that in my pocket. Yeah, I think I do. Now this is paper. This is not real money. This is real money. Silver as real money. Now you young people, some of the elders in the audience, like myself, this used to be called a silver certificate. How many old people in here know when this was a silver certificate? And you know what it said on the bottom? Pay to the bearer on demand $50 in silver, the real money. This is what you call monopoly money. Oh, you didn't hear me. We're going to do some business tonight. Because business is really warfare. What's about to happen? This week it came out in the news that in 2016, all the major banks are in trouble. It started with J.P. Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. What makes a bank in trouble? When the value of the paper that they have begins to lose its value, then the bank is in serious trouble. And so are we who have our money in the bank. Now, white people that are in your neighborhood, they're in the pawn shop now, and they're telling you in the window, bring the gold, we got cash for you. They know you don't know that this is losing its value every day. But gold will increase in value. Now this one here, I bought it today, or sent a brother to get it today, because I wanted to use it to explain something. 1 ounce of gold, this little piece right here, is 12
All right, greetings everyone. Assalamu alaikum to everybody, wherever you might be tuning in from. It's your brother Supreme X, Fire Money Network family. This is our Business is Warfare broadcast that we do every Tuesday night at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, where we pull from events that's going on. We also break out topics in excerpts of group economics, uh, empowerment, us doing for self. We pull that from words from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that he has spoken over his 66 plus decades, 60 plus years of service to our community. And we want to just clear it up to let everybody understand that he's just not a religious figure. He's just not somebody that's just trying to get you and convert you to another religion. That's not what it's about. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is a guide for the whole black nation, right? He is a standard bearer and an example on what a man should look like when it comes to every aspect of life: spiritual, political, social, economic, physical. He's just the whole full embodiment of what a real man in this day and time, being from a descendant from slaves, being in America, being stepped on, but he's to show us that we don't have to be stepped on. We can be entrepreneurs. We can be businessmen, businesswomen. We can be free. We can produce our own. We can be free in America. And I mean financial freedom. I mean time and location freedom. We can experience that if we want to. And he also coined the phrase that you see behind me: business is warfare. What's required for our economic independence? What's required? So tonight, broadcast family, we want to thank everybody for tuning in, everybody for sharing this out. So please continue to share this out, continue to support this channel, continue to support our broadcast. So tonight we want to go over: we must no longer be a consumer nation. We must change to survive. Now, in the edition of the final call that was released last Tuesday, the Minister Centerfold article is titled this, but it's actually titled "Blacks Must No Longer Be a Consumer Nation. We Must Change to Survive." So, what we want to get into tonight, we want to pull, because that excerpt that's in the final call from last week, that you can go and get digital. You see the website to the digital final call is running at the bottom of the screen. Please subscribe and support your own Muhammad Economic Blueprint, where we can get more farmland, feed more of our people, and get more infrastructure to building and manufacturing our own. Because until we're manufacturing something, family, we can't even say we independent business. We can't even really say that until we manufacture our own. And we still have to find a way, why not, a way to circumvent and go around the dollar or use the dollar to our best ability. So we'll talk to pool resources. We'll talk to come together. We'll talk to look at group economics. We'll talk to look at network marketing, affiliate marketing. We'll talk that from the minister himself. So our broadcast is designed to help us clear some of this up, get some of this understanding out here so we can move forward, because without any economic power, we don't have any power. So tonight broadcast, we're going to go into Savior's Day 2013, where the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he talked on this, on the subject title that we have tonight. He taught on this in depth. So we're going to let him do the teaching. We're not going to do a vocal reading because it's too much. So we're going to let him, you hear it from him live and in person, Savior's Day 2013, which was titled, that's when he reintroduced Muhammad's Economic Blueprint. That was 8 years ago, going on 9 years ago, family. And we pretty much still in the same condition that we were in when he made that lecture, when he made that speech. So now what we're involved in, before we go there, we want to segue, due to the time frame and the length of the video that we're going to watch of the minister tonight. We're not going to show our video to our Project Exodus 10,000 event, but we do want to say that we have a project that we're working on called Project Exodus 10,000 that comes from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Project Exodus, Project Stillaway, and then Project Exodus. So we just put the 10,000 on it, but we are in a exercise, a practice of building generational wealth, getting financial freedom, getting assets, and building leverage where we don't have to give up our labor, our sweat and blood to make a decent income that we can live off of. And quite frankly, we are going after people that want to be rich, because that's what we exercise as Fard Money Network. Why not? Right? If a man can make $8 billion in one day, $10 billion in one day, I think I can make $1 million a month. I think I can go after something like that, right? That's a worthy goal, right? And then we will be able to do more development and more buying up our community, buying up the block like we should be doing anyway. But it takes the right persons or the right people to get their hand on that type of capital and that type of wealth to want to go and take over the community and rebuild and restructure the community. So we got plenty of millionaires and billionaires that come out of our community, but they ain't going back in there. They building up here and there, but they ain't doing what's needed to stop our brothers from going in and out of the prison system. So one of our books that you need to get to understand about this, because what the minister brought out with Muhammad's Economic Blueprint, it comes out of this book and comes out of the mind of the Most Honorable Muhammad. That's why it's called Muhammad's Economic Blueprint. The minister reintroduced this to us. So we want to reintroduce this to us too. That's why you have the link running at the bottom of the screen, and it will be there all night. And then we also have Million Family March, the national agenda. See, we got to figure out what we're gonna do. We can no longer wait on the White House. We can no longer wait on the politicians. No longer wait on nobody else to do for us what we have the resources, what we have the funds to do for ourselves. So we're asking you to come and join us, Fard Money Network, and let us show you how we are building wealth, how we are free, how we are outside of the scam of the dollar, and what we're doing. So we're running our Project Exodus. So you want to text NMB to that number running at the bottom of the screen, and we will give you some information about our Project Exodus 10K. And we will also keep you notified when a Project Exodus event takes place, where we show our financial freedom plan, because we have a plan. Do you have a plan is the question. Because if you don't have a plan, then you're planning to fail. But we have a plan, and not only do we have a plan, we have $1 million or $1 millionaire plan that you can experience maybe within the next 6 to 12 months. The choice is yours, depending on how hard you go. But we're experiencing it, and we are living the lifestyle of the free people. We are living we get tax benefits and all of that. We show you all of that, everything that you need to know. And we are heavy in the asset class, the asset base, the minerals. And we also can teach you everything that you need to know, and it be your gateway where you can get inside of the cryptocurrency space market. So that's a $2 trillion market, and they predicting that market to go to 10 to 20 trillion over the next decade. Right? So that means in 2030, it's about 9 years away, or 8.5 years away. They talking about that market to be 10 to 20 trillion. All we got to do is figure out how to get in the wave of some of that trillion, and it can come to our pocket, individually, and it also can come to our pocket as a group, as a whole. So, without further ado, let's bring out the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan. This is Savior's Day 2013, where he talk about what we need to do, how we need to do it, and what can be did, and what must be did, because we are still suffering and we are still asking for the same thing that we've been asking for. I don't know why we okay with having jobs when we've been given these jobs. We've been given these jobs for so long. We came over here to work, and we still are okay with our children working, and we continue to work. So when is it going to change, and why do we have to keep letting the next generation start with zero? Why do they have to keep starting with nothing? So without further ado, let's play this. And then with any question that you might have, please comment it on Facebook or YouTube, and we will answer you, right? But make sure you got genuine questions, because you genuine want to know or you genuine want to learn. Don't come sideways, because we have no problem pulling out the sword and chop your whole brains out. So, with that being said, Fleming, let's listen at what the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan break this down about why we need the Muhammad's economic blueprint, why we need group economics, and why we can no longer be a consumer nation, because that's what we have turned to, and it's going to be some major suffering going on if we don't change that narrative soon. So with that being said, family, we'll be back.
Of the coming of God under the name the Son of Man, who would come out of the east into the west, seeking that which was lost. The great Mahdi, the long-expected guide by the Muslims, and Messiah, long expected by the Christians and the Jews. We believe that this was fulfilled in the coming of this great one, who came under disguise, looking like a Caucasian, and that would allow him to move easily among Caucasians to get to his people, the black people of America, fulfilling what is written in the scriptures. He came in sinful flesh to condemn sin in the flesh. He came as a thief in the night, while the people were under the darkness of ignorance. He came. He was a light that shined in the darkness, but the darkness comprehended it not. People saw a man, people heard a man, and he did a great work. He was a holy man coming under the cover of darkness, which is symbolized in the Bible as the Holy Ghost that came under darkness and came upon Mary, a virgin, a people that were a virgin people who had never had an intercourse or relationship with God, that out of them would become a messenger of God. But today, we have had that relationship, and now we have a direct connection with the Lord of the worlds. And after being with us for 3 years and 4 months, in that time of intercourse or relationship, out of it came a human being, the Honorable Elijah
cometh as his messenger, Messiah. But now, the exalted Christ that the whole world is looking for. I stand to represent them to you as a teacher and guide, and as a wonder to America, her people, and the nations of the earth. But before I get into our subject matter, I want to begin with a few scriptures that I want this audience and all of those watching to internalize, so that when this lecture is over, I want to see if you are in agreement with what we say. And if in agreement, we are willing to act upon the principles that you will hear. The scripture says in the book of Proverbs, the 29th chapter, the 18th verse, where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he. So today's subject, by Allah's grace, will give us a vision of what we as a people must do to solve our problems. Such that if you just go back, feed on the word, the picture that this vision will give you will come back up in your mind. And if it is rooted in your heart, then soon that which is a vision today will be made a reality tomorrow. It is a vision that has to be supported by a moral commitment by us as a people. So God says in the Holy Quran, in the 13th chapter, the 11th verse, quote, surely Allah changes not the condition of a people until
All right, family, we apologize for that, but that's the video from YouTube, and that auto is too bad. So what we're going to do is we found a clip where he specifically talked about this. It's about 10 minutes. So we're going to we're going to switch gears and play that instead of playing more of the clip that we wanted to play because of that auto on YouTube. It just that's not our end. That's the video. That's the YouTube video that we pulled it from. So let's go. We do have another clip where he now is going to go specifically into our topic. So let's play that, and then we will be back for closing remarks and the conclusion of this broadcast.
Now, I want to quickly go to how we became a nation of consumers. Did you know this is learned behavior from our experience in slavery and then the sharecropping system? But we must know our history to understand it. When most blacks emerged from slavery, most of us tried to get as far away from our former slave masters and their plantations as possible. We even set up more than 60 all-black towns where we had our own government and began a strong tradition of do for self without the oversight of our former slave masters. And many of these 60 black towns were in Indian territories. Did you know that the native people have lots of land and resources, mineral strength today? But the enemy is right on Indian land, taking the gas, taking the uranium, taking whatever their lands have and giving them nothing. Suppose we and our native brothers found a way to unite, and we help them with the knowledge we have, and the land is there, and we help. Now listen, you can't go to your brother with the mentality of your former slave master to take advantage of others. You gotta go with the mind of one who wants to serve them. And in so doing, you help yourself. Guess what? When they saw us building 60 towns, do you know they helped to destroy all 60 of those towns? They began to set up a series of laws that came to be known as Jim Crow laws. Their purpose was to return blacks as close as possible to the state of slavery that we had previously been in. And most important, to force us back into the cotton fields to keep the cotton-based economy from collapsing. Under these wicked laws, money in the hands of blacks was treated as though it was a weapon of mass white destruction. Whites made it illegal to sell property to blacks, and blacks were forbidden by law to sell their own farm products without written permission from a Caucasian, thus criminalizing black business enterprise. We couldn't get justice in the court system because they came up with a law that said Negro testimony would not be accepted unless that testimony was verified by a white man. A white man could walk into your home, take whatever he wanted, including your cotton or corn harvest, or your daughter or your wife, and we had no legal resource. All of this was done, and it was not even considered a crime. If blacks tried to save and invest their earnings, their money could be confiscated. So under Abraham Lincoln, they established something like the Freedmen's Bureau. Notice the past participle of the verb to free. Freed man. That's not something that we did for ourselves. That's something that somebody else did for us. We never freed ourselves. We were freed by them, and therefore we still singing, we shall overcome. You're not free until you know the truth that will set you free. So, under the Freedmen's Bureau, we set up the Freedmen's Bank. Of course, all of this came from Abe Lincoln to encourage and guide the economic development of the newly emancipated slaves. It operated just 9 years, 1865 to 1874. It had 37 branches in 17 states. Black Civil War veterans, farmers, churches, charities all opened a total of 480,000 accounts with assets worth nearly $4 million. In today's currency, that would be 5.8 billion in today's dollars. Now, when blacks had that kind of money, we could buy all the land that money could buy. Then the bloodsuckers descended and drained the bank of every last penny, leaving tens of thousands of its black depositors in economic ruin. There was no deposit insurance, so we were left with an almost total distrust of the banking system. So between government trickery and the widespread cheating by retail merchants and a legal system that prohibited blacks from complaining, blacks began their so-called American citizenship, economically exploited and badly crippled. Since this is Black History Month, W.E.B. Du Bois estimated that in time from the so-called Emancipation Proclamation in 1865 to the end of the 1800s, 3/4 of the wages due to blacks, that 75 cents of every dollar was simply stolen from us. Blacks responded to this oppression in what appeared to be a very logical way by becoming fast spenders. So the moment we got our money, we knew that if we could quickly turn our wages into some commodity, they had a better chance of seeing value for their labor. They couldn't trust banks to hold it, so every Friday we spent all our wages with the overpriced merchants who left us with nothing. We wanted to use our money wisely, but the economic and legal system punished us when we did. So our response to this wickedness was logical, but it set in motion a damaging spend as you get it mindset that continues to this very day. Our adjustment to this evil has created in us what has become a greater evil. We've become a consumer nation now where everybody else is benefiting. So instead of allowing the robbery to make us wiser in protecting our money, we allowed ourselves to become consumers all the way from then to now. They took away our savings, and now they made us give it back to them as a consumer. So today, you don't trust banks, you don't trust courts, you don't even trust yourselves. So the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, it's very hard for an economist to plan a wise program and see his plans carried out because the so-called American Negroes' economics are controlled by our former slave masters and their children. The American dream is built on a black nightmare. So we ran away from economics because of all of the abuse and the barriers of the marketplace that forced us out of that realm. And every immigrant group finds a way to nuzzle into the black community to take from us whatever they need to build their communities and exalt themselves in the fabric of America. So all of them will fight against anybody who comes to us with an economic plan that would wrest control of the black dollar back into black hands. Don't you know 6 cents of every dollar we spend is all we spend with black business? And according to one study made by the Gazelle Index, if we double that to 12 cents, that alone would create nearly 600,000 additional jobs for black workers, and that would reduce the black unemployment rate by more than 3 points from 13.8% to 10.6%. Don't tell me we don't have the power, we just have never used it wisely.
Only thing I can say is wow, family. Wow. Wow. I mean, it just wow. Like, so now we understand the problem. I heard that lecture before, but now it just resonates. Now I understand. Now I fully understand why it's so hard to get us, black people in America, to do group economics. We don't trust each other. We don't want to spend. So we can't longer say that slavery don't affect us. Yes, it does. It's still, because it's in our DNA. We're a part of the past. We're living in the present, but we're from the past. And our seed, when you're a man, and our new children, that contains the future. So it's about what do we pump down to the next generation. That's why we have to get the babies and teach them against that so they can break this generational wealth curse that is put on us. That's why we can't send our children to public schools. That's why it's really not okay if a child or your child doesn't have a definite focus plan to go to college and what they're going to do with that education. If they just going just to go, just more poison going into their mind. And it'll be harder it's even harder to get college students, college graduates to come and join us with this mission, because we start making excuses for our oppressors and their children. And people call us racist, but we ain't never did that to nobody. We ain't doing nowhere near like that to nobody. But because we will speak on it, teach on it, try to wake our brothers and sisters up from it, we allow the enemy to say something about us, and that reject everybody, make everybody pull back from the Nation of Islam and Mr. Farrakhan. What a real racist is the one who calls somebody else racist without any proof. But we got proof of their record with us. To get a more of an understanding on what the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan said and was saying, and why in our community, how we look at economics and how we look at money management and all of these things in group economics, you need this book, The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews, Volume 2. This book is so powerful that our enemies made Amazon take this out of stock. So you can't go to Amazon and buy this book. But you can come to us and get it at store.finalcall.com. Store.finalcall.com. And get this book and order this book. $20 will teach you, and you will start to understand the mind when you're a business owner. Are you an entrepreneur? Are you involved in, you want us to do group economics? This book here will get us to understand what has happened to us and why it's so difficult for us to get together and plan a financial future for our children. Why it's so hard for us to do that? It's because it's in our DNA from what was did to us during slavery, post-slavery, under the Jim Crow laws. And y'all know who set up the Jim Crow? The so-called Jews that you love to defend. The ones who control Wall Street, the ones who control your dollar, the ones who control the White House, the politicians, the ones who have full control of the world monetary system. They got control of our economy and our mind when it comes to economy. And that's why you have a rapper right now. Ply said it. Jay-Z said it. I ain't got no problem with Jews. Master P said it. I learned a lot from them. I ain't got no problem with them. And that's why those our black brothers, with all the money, with all the capital that they got, they ain't produced a system for us yet. We can call the roll. Jay-Z, Russell Simmons, P. Diddy, 50 Cent, Dr. Dre. Just call them. Master P, Jay Prince, Suge Knight, Herb Gotti. Call them all the ballers out. Call them. Drake, Nicki Minaj, Lil Wayne, Birdman. Call them. All of the football players, the basketball players. They have got their wealth and got their riches from being friends with the Jews. So if they try to come out and do anything for us on a group economic tip, a systematic tip, the Jews will shut them down. And the Jews probably have something on them, some dirt. If they don't have any dirt on them, they would probably end up like Bill Cosby in jail. Something that was supposed to have been happening in the 70s. I mean, we just have to understand what's going on. This thing is so deep and our condition is so grave. Is there any hope, though? Is there any light? Where is the light? Because in the midst of all this darkness and this chaos, in the midst of this crisis in America, is there any light for hope? You got a lot of people doing a lot of things, but can they get us out of the system? Is what they doing putting us on the outside of this system that has raped us? They saying that the minister said that, I think he said W.E.B. Du Bois said that, I had to go back and listen to it to quote correctly, but he said that we are robbed 75 cents out of every dollar. Let me say that again. We are robbed 75 cents out of every dollar. And that's why we have $1.2 to $1.3 trillion going through our community, going through our hands right now. And we still got the most unemployed, the most in prison, the most selling drugs, the most looking for a job, the most in poverty. Because we don't know how to pool resources. We don't understand group economics. And when somebody steps up to the plate to try to bring us that, we will make all type of excuses on why we don't want to get in and why we don't want to support. We'll find an excuse. Because it's in our DNA. We still slaves. In 2021, all this information out here, you got people all over the world, they becoming billionaires in 6 months, 12 months. Billionaires from the technology. We're afraid of it. We would rather go to the Gucci store. We would rather buy old beat up cars that we currently got a fix on. We would rather eat out. We would rather get a mortgage and go into debt. We would rather use credit. I need credit. I talked to a brother a couple weeks ago. He tried his best to sell me on why I need some credit. I said, bro, I don't need no credit, bro. I'm a wealth builder, brother. I don't have debt. I ain't on Robert Kiyosaki level. So I can't go to the bank and get no $300 million worth of debt. I can't do that. He can. So when he say debt is good, he talking from his level and his understanding on that. But if you're using credit just to get a mortgage or get a car, you're in some bad shape economically. Because that means you can't afford it. I mean, you can't afford it. If I had to borrow $100,000 for you to do whatever, that means I can't afford it. I don't have $100,000 for myself. Well, why would I want to use somebody else's money? It's just a cycle. That's not helping the world. That's not helping humanity. Credit is, in the Holy Quran, from the Muslim standpoint, is called usury. Usury. That's what credit is. Go look it up. So that has put people out of homes, out of cars, looking for jobs and doing anything for it because of debt. Trying to pay a bill. Trying to pay a bill. So family, I hope y'all enjoyed that. That's on YouTube. That video, that 9-minute clip video, and the article is in the final call issue that came out last week. So get your latest issue, get your subscription, and you can go back to all the final calls that have been published. If you get your digital subscription, find the brothers or see the brothers in your city, in your community that be out with the final call newspaper on the corner, or whether they come to your doorstep, knocking on your door, asking you to get the best newspaper, the freest newspaper on the planet, the final call, and support your own before you support another. Donate to Muhammad's Economic Blueprint. And if you want to know more about Fard Money Network, then you want to join Fard Money Network, the registration link is at the bottom of the screen. And family, we thank y'all. And we are appreciate everybody that subscribe to our channel, that support us on Facebook, that support us on Instagram, Twitter, wherever you support us at. Please continue to do so we can continue to bring this information and this understanding and to bring this, because we need this conversation. But we don't just need this conversation to feel good. We need action. What's the plan of action? So we need something to do. We need a system. And we in Fard Money Network, we have found a system. Not going to say it's the system, but we have found a system. So with that being said, family, we'll see y'all on the next broadcast. Assalamu alaikum, salam, peace.